Hi guys, Tom from Tom's Talk Time here. This afternoon I sat down with local author Michelle Dennis to discuss her two published books, Wolfbane and Infinite Completion. Thanks for watching. Enjoy. Michelle Dennis, welcome to Tom's Talk Time. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here.
Alright, let's chat about your books. So you've published two books in the past few years. Number one was Wolfbane and number two was Infinite Completion. For people watching who don't know your style, can you give us a sort of brief synopsis of each book?
Yeah, sure. Not sure if it's a style thing. I've written two completely different genres, a romance and a young adult fantasy. Wolfbane was my first one, and that's young adult fantasy, medieval themed. So two young boys get kidnapped by friendly dragons and taken to another world, and they've got a whole dangerous task that they have to do.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really quite proud of that one, being my debut book and all. Infinite Completion is darker, I guess. It's about secrets and finding your balance. Although it's basically a romance, we're looking at a young girl who thinks that her life is quite happy, quite normal. She's worked hard at having a balance, and she meets Valentine at a pub. And he basically turns her world upside down. Yeah, so
Fantastic.
we've got a sequel coming out for that one as well. So
Great reading.
Yeah.
And you've actually donated profits from both of them to two different organisations. First was to PMH for Wolfbane, and second was to the Breast Cancer Foundation. Why those two organisations?
Okay, well, when I first came to Perth, I was 13. We came from Sydney, and I was blown away by telethon. I couldn't believe the generosity that Perth people had. When I wrote a child's book, I thought what best, fundraising to do with it would be telethon, PMH, and we donated a lot of copies as well, so. And we raised about $3,000 with that book. Still going. We're due to release a re-release of it with a new cover this year. And Infinite Completion, I have a lot of friends that have had cancer touch their lives, whether they've had it themselves or a family member, mostly ladies with breast cancer. So I thought, being an adult book, I would go for that foundation, and it's pink and it's my favourite colour, so
lovely. What a lovely idea.
Yeah.
Let's talk now about getting motivated. Now, writing a book for me is something that is a goal of mine in the next year or so. How did, firstly, you find the courage, and secondly, the time to put pen to paper?
I always had, my children growing up, they always had books in their reach. It's always been something I've loved reading, watching movies with characters and the imagination. So I guess as the girls were a little bit older and could fend for themselves a little bit more, I had a bit more time on my hands, started listening to the voices in my head, as they say, and wrote down some characters and some little plots of things that they were saying, and came out with Wolfbane. So motivation, I try and write once a week. I actually feel a little bit ill when I haven't written anything. I always find I'm a little bit off balance when I haven't done any writing or listened to those little characters going on, and so. A few writers have said it's very therapeutic. It is.
So what about your sort of writing space? Is there any rituals?
Yeah, try and do Saturday mornings or weekends. If it's raining outside, it's perfect weather. There's also, when you get out the shower, and I'm thinking, I'd write that down and quickly text it into my phone. Sometimes I text it to one of my daughters and they think, oh my gosh, what's mum sending me, just so that I know I've written that little bit down. Driving home, I'll ring the girls and say, quickly write this down for me. So thoughts come at any time, but I try and hone it all into one day a week, or a Saturday or a Sunday, because I work full time. So yeah,
fantastic.
It's just full on.
And you mentioned earlier you're doing a sequel. Is that what's in the works at the moment?
We've got a sequel for Infinite Completion. That's going to be a little bit hard to write. It'll be from Valentine's point of view, and he swears a lot. I don't swear. So you have to really channel another character. Yeah, so he's really testing my boundaries at the moment. So there's that. And then the second Wolfbane which is really fun because I love the fact that my dragons talk and there's lots of adventure. And in this one there's a wedding, so that'll be good fun to write. So that'll be out later in the year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know it's probably like picking a favourite child, but is there a favourite character?
Not really. Oren, my dragon, he's one of my favourites because he's just gorgeous and so wise, and he's, you know, really friendly, and he looks after the boys. In the second book, his backstory comes through, which, you know, might make a few people cry here and there because it's a little bit sad. So he's one of my favourites. And when I was in London recently, I brought back Jeremy the Vampire, and he's also becoming one of my favourites. He's a complete different book. I don't know where he came from, but he's in there, and he's like, hurry up, finish those other 2 books because I need to tell my story. So I've written a lot of stuff down for him. Not really a favourite, but every now and again a character will come out and just stay with you for a while until you've written a fair bit of, you know, what they want to say, and then they'll go, okay, I'll leave you alone for a bit. So, yeah.
That's so cool. No, that's great.
Yeah.
And what about authors that have inspired you? Is there anything from your childhood or reading as an adult that sort of had an influence on how you write?
Yeah, I think, you know, going through high school, I mean, as a child, we, you know, grew up with Peter Pan and Peter Rabbit and
all the fantastic
Golden books and
books.
Fantastic Four and all the, you know, all those sort of books. Going into high school, I was really loved Jane Austen, the Charles Dickens, Shakespeare, all that romance and history. Yeah, as an adult, I started, and I'm not sure why, reading authors like Angie Sage and Christopher Paolini, and they're all fantasy authors. So I've got a very large range of genres that I love.
It's really
so
great though. It
people.
keeps you sort of grounded, I think, as an author, and able to explore a variety of different avenues.
Yeah, I'm also with a writers group, and they're all published authors, or 90% of us are now. So and they're fantastic. You know, we critique each other's work and support each other a lot. But I sometimes feel really humbled by them because they're so great. Some of the local talent around here, people don't know of.
No, it's great that you're recognising it too.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that authors are fabulous people with wonderful conversation. If you could have any 3 people, not just authors, around for dinner, who would you have and why?
My 3 favourite people over for dinner would be Meryl Streep, Bette Midler,
Me too.
and my mum.
Good
Those
answer.
3 women.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surrounded by women, and I always have been, that are strong, independent, don't need a man type of woman, you know.
Fantastic.
And my mum's always been my hero, so they're at the top.
I think definitely some interesting dinner conversations indeed.
Yes, I think so.
Well, Michelle Dennis, thank you very much for
Thank
sitting
you.
down with Tom's Talk Time. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Tom. It's been good fun. Thanks.
Thanks for watching, guys. First of many videoed interviews for the future, and all of my links are below. Thank you. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. First of... Sorry. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed.